It is officially Sunshine Week nationwide, actually, and Splash Live is actually recognizing the importance of public access to government information. And joining us to talk a little bit more about it, Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission, we have Deb Macon. How you doing, Deb?
Hey, Kevin, I'm doing well. Good to meet you.
Absolutely. Great to meet you, too. Thank you so much for joining us. Open government is good government. That's essentially what I got from Sunshine Week. But can you tell us a little bit more about what Sunshine Week is?
Oh, absolutely, Kevin. So, quite a while ago, the one of the national organizations of journalists decided to shine a spotlight on what it means to have open, accessible, and accountable government.
Mhm.
And it was really fun to learn that the date was picked to coincide with James Madison's birthday. So, James Madison, our fourth president, was the person who was the greatest champion when the Bill of Rights and our founding documents were put together for freedom of access.
Mm. Great information. So this is basically letting us know that for the people, hey, we have access to this information that the government
Mm-hmm.
has, certain files, certain documents as to what's
Mm-hmm.
going on, and this is all part of the Freedom of Information Act. Can you give us a little bit
Yes.
more information on the Freedom of Information Act?
You know what? Absolutely. So, for government to be accessible, it means that we, the citizens, the residents of community, have access to know or have the right to have
Hmm.
access to the formal government documents and decisions that were made. And of course, all those decisions are made on our behalf. And right here in Greater West Bloomfield, our local communities, West Bloomfield Township, Kego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake, have been successfully living these principles since their inception. And as a member of the Cable Communications Commission, we get a chance to help promote and help be part of that and bring much of that to life to let the public know what's going on.
That's great to hear. So I want to ask you about that coming up. But for
Sure.
the average West Bloomfield resident listening, watching right now, why do they care? Why should I care about access to the government's documents or information? Or what type of documents should they even care to look for?
Well, you know what? Residents are empowered and enlightened to understand decisions that are being made in their best interest.
Hmm.
And how would I know that if I didn't have access to the minutes of a local unit of government,
Right.
to the records, to the data, to the trail of decisions being made? An example,
Right.
what's happening in my what's happening in my neighborhood as a when it comes to repairing a road. There
Okay.
was a power outage. I wonder what happened. What
Mm,
was that discussion about?
mm.
These are just minor types of questions that residents might be interested in knowing more about.
Okay. And do they have to go to a physical office location to access this information, or is it
If
all online nowadays?
you know what, a good amount, I'll put it this way, a good amount of public information is available online,
Mhm.
and our four communities um, literally make a record of all of their meetings, those that are recorded by you at Civic Center TV, as well as their minutes, their agendas are available online. And there will be some records that someone may be interested in that have to be requested in person at the clerk's office in those communities.
Okay, so the clerk's office is where they would want to go if they can't access that information online. This morning we have Deb Macon of Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commissioners joining us today, talking about Sunshine Week nationwide, but it's focused here in the Greater West Bloomfield area, giving people readily accessible, easy access to government information. Being part of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commissions, Deb, can you tell us, you said you promote and support Sunshine Week and the Freedom of Information Act. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you do promote and support that act in Sunshine Week?
Oh, thank you for that question. Since 2012, the Cable Commission has been communicating with our four local units of government and asking them to promote it as well. So, from our platform here on channel 15 and then 99 if you're on AT&T, from our platform we have an opportunity to communicate with those local elected officials. So in 2012, we literally, as a commission, created our first formal proclamation. We are appointed by the local units of government, and we're expected to be on top of it when it comes to communicating
Mm-hmm.
across the community. And that included, well, since we know about this, let's make sure our local units of government do as well.
Right.
So several months ago, we approved a proclamation from the Cable Commission and asked each of our local units of government if they would sign on and adopt it too. Now, for our local units of government and for us, these are things that are normal, that are everyday,
Mm-hmm.
that we already demonstrated commitment to. And conversations such as this elevated for every member of the community as well.
Great, great. I love that we are actually, committed to providing that information to the community because it affects us here in the local community. We want to know about it. We want to spread that to other people who may not have access to that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about the difference between public information and private information. How is that decided?
Mm.
What is the difference between public government information and private government information?
There are some other rules that are in place as well, such as the Open Meetings Act that allows local units of government to make some certain decisions private. And those are to protect the interest of individuals, they are to protect the interest of the communities themselves. And those decisions have to or not made public, but the act of making that decision.
Right.
And in a local unit of government, someone who is listening or watching or sitting in the audience would hear that local unit of government literally identify that this is protected content or this is a confidential matter, and there are strident rules to follow to identify those items.
And this runs up, like we said, between the local, the county, the state, and the federal government. Public, readily accessible, easy access to government information. Once again, Deb, can you just tell us how people can access this information locally and give any last words that you have and information for the community, please?
All right. One, start right here at CCT. And then the more information you would like, please make sure you get to know the clerk in your community to find out what records are available and accessible. And keep tuned to Civic Center TV.
Absolutely. Deb Macon again from the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commissioners join us. Thanks again for your time, Deb.
Thank you, Kevin.